morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. I'm Joe Jaquint, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group, and our toll-free number, 800-951-0592, the website at allamericangold.com. And, man, it is Tuesday the 14th. The Fed meeting is underway. The answer, I guess, comes out tomorrow. Some really, just terrible year, right? A terrible year for all of your paper assets. Gold's kind of flattened out today, still down, but essentially gold flat for the year. That's like winning in this market. The Dow had another tough day yesterday. All kinds of crazy things happened. There's leaks at the Fed, apparently. And you know what's so funny is, apparently this leak from the Fed is a well-known leak amongst Wall Streeters. Again, any advantage these pinstripe bandits could have, they take advantage of it. But the leak was that the Fed now has realized that they are behind. And again, what took so long, right? And that tomorrow, instead of 50 basis points, we're going to see 75 basis points. That does nothing. I mean, again, it gets everybody worked up. And of course, look at how bad the reaction was from your paper assets. But the realities are, we got to go a lot more than a quarter of a point. Now, that's actually, if they do it. And I don't know that they are, but they're saying they are, Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan, Citi, Barclays, everybody and their grandmother at some point yesterday was out with, they're going to raise 75 basis points tomorrow, Jason. And again, this is something where the reason why you continue to put gold and silver away, these guys are clowns. Well, and again, there's only two explanations. They're either clowns or they're actually doing this on purpose. That's the only two logical explanations, right? Think about this. How long did they tell us it was transitory? Then how long did they say, well, okay, there's some inflation, but don't worry, it's coming down. And then they start, remember, 2 or 3 times they tried to float peak inflation. Let's remember the first time. Remember when lumber prices came down last summer? By the way, I got news for everybody. Of course, you know this from me. That's when lumber prices always go down. Of course, then they shot right back up again. Remember, used car prices went down for like 30 seconds, and then that didn't happen. And then, of course, peak inflation with the CPI print for April. And then, of course, we got May. That didn't happen, Jason. These guys are absolutely clueless. If they're actually going to admit they're behind, how bad is it really going to be?
It almost seems like it's all centered around oil right now, too, Joe, because I remember oil went down for a short time. It's like when oil went down, everything went down just for a short time. You had the CPI went down.
Yeah, I remember, that's right. When China locked up 500 million people, oil went down.
Yeah, CPI went from 8.5 to 8.3. Of course, now that the gas prices are back on the way up, now we have 8.6. So, Joe, it's interesting. You say, is it on purpose or is it are they just dumb? It's on purpose. These guys are control monsters. They've been... If I went back and did the history lesson on central bank in America, you would see that everything is a geared and purposeful act to have the best results for themselves. So, Joe, however they're doing it and whatever they're planning, it's on purpose.
It has to be, right? Because why is this guy not fired? Matter of fact, Jay Powell got reappointed. And guess what? All the Republicans, all the Democrats, they all voted for it.
All the big bankers, when the housing bubble burst, they didn't get fired. They got bonuses. Remember that, Joe? So it's on purpose. They did their job just fine.
Yep. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous, and it's going to get, I hate to say it, but I've been warning you. You know what's coming. Either you prepare or you don't. Here's the great part, at least with gold prices down here for this next few days. You're going to be able to buy it for less, which is a great thing. You can afford more gold in all of this. How about wholesale prices? We got wholesale prices today, and again, this is the producers, right? So this is before the products get to the shelf, which just tells you, okay, Are prices going to keep going up? Well, guess what? Rose another 0.8% for the month of May, up 10.8% for the last year, excluding food and energy, right? So, as Jason said, a lot of this is energy. Prices were still up 0.5%. And by the way, the quote-unquote core number, the Fed's fake number, I don't even know, why would they call this a core number? It's not a real number. It's a made-up number. Hey, let's take away a bunch of the stuff that's causing prices to go up, and let's go with that. How does that make any sense? But again, this is, to Jason's point, this is part of the plan. Even that number was up 6.8%. So, Jason, not a lot of relief in sight. Right now, everything is down, with the exception of crude oil. Once again, crude oil up another $2.50, $123.50. Brent crude at $125. The one good thing, I got some good news. I'm going to give you some good news. Remember last week we told you about that liquefied natural gas terminal in Texas? It blew up. And they said, hey, we're probably not going to be able to load liquefied natural gas to go to Europe for about 3 weeks. Today they said it's going to be at least 90 days. Here's the good news. Natural gas, U.S. natural gas, fell almost 18% on the news. So, if we don't ship it all away, maybe our prices could come down. I don't think it's going to last. We'll be back right after the break. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour. It's just ridiculous. Oh, we have these leaks, and of course, they leak stuff on purpose. We'll see what happens tomorrow, but again, make no mistake about it. They're the cause of it. All the high gas, it's not the Russians. Now, granted, that didn't help, but it's not the Russians. And it's not supply chain problems. It's not COVID. It's these clowns that are sitting there. And to Jason's point, because I don't believe they're clowns. I believe they're extremely intelligent, powerful people. And they're on a mission right now. And that is to destroy wealth. See, they let you have some good times, right? They felt real bad. They felt real bad when a lot of us lost our homes out there. They felt bad when you had to give the jingle mail. They did. They felt real bad. Of course, they only felt bad because all their banks were going to go under. And so they've been on this little quest. And they've been on this quest for coming on almost 20 years now. And they're getting ready. And during that time, right after, they crashed the housing market, ruined your 401ks, a lot of you started feeling real good. And now they're going to take it all away. Because why? Because they have power. They want more power. They want to be able to dictate what you can buy and who you can buy it from. It's just that simple. They want the ultimate power because they think if they can have the ultimate power, somehow it's going to be just fine. And you know what, Jason? Here's the reality. The more power they get, the bigger the screw-ups they make and the more pain they inflict on the citizenry.
Well, and really, it's all about fattening their own wallets and their friends. So it's anytime you have all this weird, the weird data and the weird pointing the fingers, like you said, Russia and supply chain issues, all that stuff. They got to have so many ways to cover up their thieving and their stealing, because it really is. It is stealing because they get to control the interest rates. They get to control how much money is printed. They get to blow up their balance sheet to $9 trillion. All these things.
They could have been. That's right. They could have raised interest rates last year. They didn't.
They could have.
They didn't. They should have.
Should have never
But
been.
yet now, they're like Jason said, they're just stealing money out of your wallets.
It should have never been zero to begin with, Joe. It should have never been zero for a decade. We should never have 0%.
Right? What a ridiculous policy that is. Who in their right mind? All right, that defies every rule of banking. It was so idiotic. Yet you turn on the idiot box and you got the booyah man, Jim Cramer, telling you how great they are, and Maria Bartiromo. You know, I'm 51 years old. I can't afford to lose half of my investments. That's what's happening to people. Well, it ain't happening to me because I hooked up with myself. By the way, Joey's going to be on the Half Empty Cup of Joe tomorrow, so you're going to want to tune in. 602-909-9048. You can always email us at the radio station, email us at Patriot, call us. We'll get you in contact with them. You better get your backsides protected. First, you buy gold. Everything else you're not doing investment-wise, call Joey. It's just that simple. Because it is time to play a whole lot of defense, and it's happening so quickly. Two big developments in the last 24 hours. One, Mexico. This is how weak, quote-unquote, President Biden is. And the reason why I call it, because he's not a president. He's not a president. Listen, they think about the election. You know, we got that sham January 6th hearing going on. Is this really what we wanted? This is the guy we wanted? The guy that's been a patsy for decades? The guy that's compromised? Known to have been compromised? This is the guy we get. Now we get the president of Mexico, who won already last week, ditched the Conference of Americas. Now he comes out and saying that the war in Ukraine is immoral, condemning NATO. How easy is it to say, here, I'll send you this much money for weapons. Couldn't the war in Ukraine been avoided? Of course it could have. The president of Mexico, of course, remember, Mexico, they didn't vote to sanction Russia. Right? They didn't vote for any of that. They just said, hey, listen, we're not dumb. This was a NATO power play. This war was ridiculous. It could have been avoided, should have been avoided. But, Jason, this is what we wanted.
Yeah, and here's the thing. They have that power to make these decisions. They always make the decisions. They have the control. So it's why I've always been against the Federal Reserve and central government, because they make all the decisions. You know, the federal government's not supposed to be making any of these decisions. Actually, the federal government's just supposed to be there as a protection to the states when a large-scale enemy decides to maybe try to invade. You know, in simple little protections. But the federal government now makes all the decisions for everybody. You could say, well, our states do this, and the states don't do anything unless the federal government gives them permission to. Hey, if you don't do what the federal government wants, we'll yank your funding. So these guys, Joe, that you're talking about, they make all these disastrous decisions is because it's really easy if you know when you're pulling the triggers, when to buy and when to sell. It's great. I mean, everybody else has to take the risk, right, Joe? We all have to try to figure it out, but they know exactly the timing of all of it. And if the timing is off, they can just pull more triggers to make it go the way they want if it's not going their way.
Listen, I'm convinced the financial crisis just happened a little sooner than they wanted. The amount of spending and debt, and again, when we talk about government debt, $30 trillion, and how it was $5 trillion when this whole thing started. The Fed balance sheet now $9 trillion, was $700 billion before the whole thing started. That's the small part. We found out through FOIA requests. Now, granted, the Fed went to the Supreme Court and withheld the information from us for a dozen years. They're supposed to release it 2 years after the fact. They went to the Supreme Court to hide how many trillions, tens and hundreds of trillions of dollars that they were pumping into the system without telling anybody. Shh. And now they're in Operation Soak Up. Right, and that means wealth destruction at a scale that we have never seen, and it is happening at a lightning pace. You know what? We talked a lot about cryptos yesterday. Another one of those things. Right? I remember we were talking to Joey about cryptos. I'm like, yeah, I'm not recommending any of those right now, and the bloodbath that's happened. But let's talk about Coinbase, because Jason, how long have we heard over the last 2 or 3 years that crypto was the new gold?
Yeah.
How long? It's not gold. Gold is savings. That's not what crypto is.
Yep.
It's never been this, and it's led a lot of people astray. And I get it. There's a lot of people that, the 30-somethings, and, man, I hate my job. I work 9 to 5, or I'm in the office, whatever it may be. I'm bored. I want to be wealthy, and they buy into this stuff, thinking that it's the new gold, it's the new world order, and it's anything but that.
The IRS, Joe, the IRS in 2014 declared cryptocurrencies an equity. The IRS, as much as I don't like them, said it's a stock, and it's a stock that has no company behind it. So it's the thing that cryptocurrencies had, Joe, is they got hey, we're cool, we're against the powers that be. This is outside their system. Well, so is buying Apple stock, I guess, because you're buying with a private company, supposedly. But it's not really that private. These big companies are in bed with government, so there's really no way out. They just kind of disguised it as a cool equity, a cool stock, Joe, and it just doesn't have anything backing it up. It's imaginary money, Joe.
Well, and again, I love the concept, but it's a concept that I don't think these bankers were ever going to allow. But I want to highlight how fast things are changing. Coinbase. Coinbase is the largest, at least in the U.S. That's where a lot of people have their crypto, because you can turn it into cash and sell it and trade it and do all that stuff there. At the beginning of the year, Coinbase was saying, hey, we're going to hire a couple thousand workers. 2 weeks ago, Coinbase said, hey, we're going to freeze. We're going to have a hiring freeze. Then what was it? About a week ago, Coinbase started rescinding job offers to people. In other words, people that they hired, hey, okay, you're going to start in 2 weeks. Well, they called them up and said, hey, don't show up. This morning, Coinbase comes out and says we're laying off 18% of our workforce, or cutting 1,100 people. So think about how fast this thing went. In less than 6 months, they went from we're going to add 2,000 people to actually we're laying off 1,100, Jason. This is how fast things are turning.
Yeah, then you got that. Well, you got that crypto, bank yesterday that just said, "Oh, no more withdrawals. We have to shore up our problems here." It's just like a run to the bank, Joe. They know that they're in trouble, that they can't recall the money that they loaned out, because it's just crazy, Joe. I'm never going to use one of those crypto banks at all. I mean, because there is, it's like 1800s banks when they decide to just print up a bunch of money and then
again, right?
The gold left the bank.
Be careful. There's if they go under, you lose everything.
You lose everything.
And there's so many of them. I can't keep them all straight. But I want to tell you, at least Brian Armstrong, he's the CEO of Coinbase. At least he's got his heads out of the clouds now. Because he said, we are entering a recession. A recession could lead to another crypto winter. I don't remember the other crypto winter. Is he talking about what just happened over the last few days? And maybe Jason, he listens to this show because he's talking about this lasting for an extended period of time.
Well, Joe, to me, if cryptos when they come back here in the near future, it'll be because a lot of the small ones will probably get wiped out. I mean, they're selling off like crazy right now. I mean, yesterday was. Can you imagine if gold sold off 15 or 25% in one day, or even worse, the the Dow or the S&P had a 20% down day or a 15% down day. Can you imagine how crazy the world would act?
Oh, it would be incredible. It would be horrifying. And again, I think we're just setting ourselves up here. All these things are aligning. Look at today, right? Crude, it's the only thing up, but it's almost $124 a barrel and headed higher. Natural gas, we just got a break. Think about this. This is how upside down it is. We have a liquefied natural gas terminal blow up. The company says, hey, we thought it was going to be 3 weeks, but now that we've looked at it, hey, it's going to be 90 days before we can start shipping liquefied natural gas. All of a sudden, our natural gas went from $9 to $7.50 in a matter of minutes. And of course, problem is, everybody else, like Europe, natural gas prices went up 20% on the news. This is how crazy these situations are. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592. The Dow is down another 200 points. The Dow is now about 750 points away from joining the S&P and the NASDAQ in bear market territory. Because the NASDAQ, I don't know what territory you call that. I don't know what comes after bear market, but the Dow getting ready to join them as well. And I just got off, the girls were just in here. We've got a great opportunity on some half dollars right here. We've got 2 bags of halves. They just came onto the market. They're in Texas right now. Big savings. So right now, half dollar rolls $260 a roll. Jason, $20 off. $240 a roll. We've got a couple hundred rolls. So we got a decent amount of half dollars. And Jason will tell you, as far as junk silver goes, the half dollars have been number one, premiums have been sky high. Number two, really hard to get any quantity in anything silver. So to have half dollars come up on the market, just a great opportunity here at 800-951-0592. Like I said, they're in Texas, so that means we can get them out pretty quickly, Jason.
Yeah, first the silver eagles kind of get hard to get, and then the silver dollars start disappearing, and then it's the silver half dollars, and that's why they've been a little pricier over the last couple of years, because the silver half dollars, it's a cool coin. It's a large coin compared to the quarters, the dimes, and smaller silver, and it's a cool coin. Let's just face it, the Kennedy half dollar is something I like. I love the 64 Kennedys. I love the Franklins, and man, $20 off means you're getting $1 per coin, and it comes in a roll of 20, so you're getting a dollar per coin. That's pretty cool.
Off, yeah. $1 a coin off at 800-951-0592, and great barterable stuff. And that's another one. I think this is price per ounce so much cheaper now, especially with $20 off. Then you could buy silver eagles as an example. You're talking about buying silver for $3-4 an ounce less than silver eagles, and having that half dollar coin, good barterable material at 800-951-0592. And yesterday we had a huge move in the bond market. These are moves, when you talk about size of market, the U.S. Treasury market is one of the biggest markets in the world. Well, I mean, think about it. I mean, it's got to be. If you got 30 trillion of them, I mean, it's a huge, huge market. You're not supposed to see these moves like we saw yesterday and Friday. 30-year fixed mortgages jumped from 5.85 on Friday to 6.18 at the end of day yesterday, Jason. I mean, that's incredible what this does. They're saying now on a on a standard, what was the jumbo loan? I think it was $629,000 or $649,000 house. If you bought it in January versus buying it today, you're looking at almost an extra $1,000 a month on your mortgage payment, Jason.
And that's going to get worse. This rate hike tomorrow is going to push that harder, and I think there'll be the rate hike in July. And I know there's some.
Right. I think whatever they do tomorrow, I think they do again in July. So if they're really going to do 75 basis points tomorrow, I think they're going to do another 75 in July because inflation. Look at today. I was driving to work again today. Gas went up another 10 cents here in Phoenix. And look at crude oil today. Energy prices are still heading higher, which means if they do 75 today, I think they do 75 in the end of July, beginning of August.
And Joe, and this is, Joe and I talk back and forth about the timing of things because we're always, that's it's speculation. It's, when you're doing this day in, day out, you're trying to figure out what's going to happen. I'm really thinking rate hikes go. I mean, I think rate hikes keep going. I know we think they're going to crash possibly in October, and maybe they reverse course, Joe. But I just keep getting this funny feeling that they're just going to keep on raising rates all the way through the end of this year and even early next year. They're really trying to do. It looks like this slow crash. Is that they seem to be very content with this kind of slowish crash. Because let's face it, we saw in 2020 how when they shut everything down, how quickly everything crashed. It was lightning speed. So this is almost like, well, we don't have a coronavirus right now. We don't have any, we don't have a whole lot of real bad emergency in the news cycle compared to a coronavirus. So we'll just crash it slowly. And then, Joe, maybe it's only 50 basis points tomorrow, 50 basis points in July, 50 basis points in September, and just slowly try to crash it.
I'll say this. It could be 50 tomorrow because it's unlike them to not deliver right now the message they delivered is 50. If they go 75, I'm just telling you that just means we're going to be light on where we think energy and food are going. In other words, prices are going to be even higher than I thought, which is going to be bad. But if they only do 50 tomorrow, I really believe the press conference afterwards, they're going to let everyone know, by the way, we're going 75 on the next one. And to Jason's point, this now extends rate hikes. So they're going to rate hike even more. And this is my point. I've been saying this from day one. They're going to hike rates until we're in a depression, period. There's no soft landing. There's no recession. There's no reinflating this bubble this time around. Because, again, we got to remember, we're going to be in a recession/depression with inflation for the first time ever, which really limits what they can do. Whether they go back to zero? Let's just say they want to. To Jason's point, hey, we're now talking about rate hikes in October, November. Well, before they can go to quantitative easing again, Jason, they got to bring the rates back to zero again. Well, that puts us, well into 2023 before they can even get to zero to even start quantitative easing. And by that point, Jason, this is just a big dumpster fire. This is what it is.
Yeah, that's right, Joe. And all that talk of 75 basis points, to me, for the markets, it's like if they only go to 50 points tomorrow, then it's like, oh, see, it's not that bad. It's only 50 points. It's okay, market.
Well, listen, it could be one of those days tomorrow, right, with 50. And if the Fed, if Jay Powell just does dovage and doesn't hint at 75, well, there'll be a massive rally. Gold will go flying. Silver will go flying. Wall Street will probably be up 1,000 points, right? We'll see. Tomorrow's going to be a crazy day. $50, though. Woo! $240 a roll. What a deal. 800-951-0592. When we come back, we're going to talk housing prices. Where are they going? 800-951-0592. Before we get to housing, residents in Illinois, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, you better get ready. Electrical costs for electric power skyrocketing as the states pushed for green energy has all but failed. They're saying that right now electric pricing, they said the typical residential customer expected to see a 54% in their increase in their energy bills starting in June. Well, that's now. 54%. I know. What's inflation again? Oh, it's 8.6? Is it really? Yeah, I don't think so. They're saying that as summer goes along, they are worried that customers could see a 100% increase in their power bills, Jason. And we're not just talking Texas and California, Arizona. Brittany's the first one. Her power bill up 40%.
Well, I'll let you know what happens here, Joe, because I noticed that which bill was it? It was my electric bill. You know what? It was my electric bill. It was up already. So it was
these are increases.
It's huge.
Come on, are you paying attention? What do you think's going to happen? Right? If your electric bill goes up 50, 100, 200, Arizona, there's power bills in Arizona. $500-600 is nothing in a house. A 3,000 square foot house. What happens when that bill's $750, $800, $1,000? Well, that's less money to spend elsewhere. Home prices, a growing number of price cuts is starting to trend across the nation. They're saying that price reduction, now a realtor must have wrote this, price reductions don't mean overall home values are dropping. It doesn't. I think that's exactly what it means, but okay. They're saying that prices are starting to drop, and they gave some examples. They used in California, because they like to go to the California market first. They're saying that in Van Nuys, a 4-bedroom home, they cut the price by $50,000. Another home, $78,000. A home that was listed for $1 million, they cut $140,000. And they're saying that, Jason, this is starting to spread because interest rates keep going up. And this was before the big move. This was when interest rates were still at 5.8. Now they're at 6.2. I got to believe more price cuts are coming, Jason.
Right. And then just never mind the fact.
The problem is, unless you're paying all cash, the price for you doesn't go down.
That's right. And on top of that, Joe, the fact that it's just so expensive to get the house, and then the interest rates going up on the mortgages, it's just, so who's going to buy it? That's the whole problem.
So if you're an all-cash buyer, wait. You'll be able to buy a house next year for $100,000, $200,000, maybe even $300,000 less. The problem is for everybody else, if you need a mortgage to go with it, man, yep, the price fell. But with rates going, especially these kind of moves in rates, I don't know that the payment's going to be any less, Jason.
No. And if they keep boosting interest, the core interest rates, the Fed, all the way through this year, let's just say I'm right and it goes into next year, they're still boosting next year, then, you'll have 10, 15% mortgages really quick, Joe. It could get bad really fast.
Yeah, this is something where I don't think any of us are really prepared. Procter & Gamble was coming out and saying now there's a tampon shortage. That's an aisle I don't go down. I'll ask my wife. But it just seems, we just had a baby formula shortage and the price, look at producer prices today. Another 11%. Another 11%. Well, what does that mean? That means everything we buy is going to cost more. Right? Crude oil up again. It's never ending. Matter of fact, listen to this. The State Department had to let everyone know yesterday, despite all the sanctions on Russia, they're actually selling more oil now than when the war started, Jason.
Well, that makes a little bit of sense, doesn't it? They started a little economic sanction war with Russia, and so Russia's going to do what any country would do. Is like, well, let's see what else we can do with this. And they have friends. They have friends that are.
Well, let me tell you. Guess who their newest friend is? The quote unquote American ally, India, has now become the second largest oil importer of Russian crude, second only to China, as India continues to gobble up Russian crude. China and India alone are 30% of the world's population. And Jason, sanctions, no sanctions, they don't care. They're doing business with Russia.
That's true. And I saw that, what was it, Iran. Iran's kind of putting the idea out there of doing a little family group currency, kind of like their own European Union currency. Hey, let's get together, let's do our own currency. Let's get rid of these dollars. Did you see that? Where they Russia, China, India, Pakistan?
I think this is coming. This is coming. This is what the war in Ukraine really is about, in my opinion. And I've talked about it on this show now, probably going on for at least the last 3 years, maybe a little longer. And how long have I said China's not our friend? They've never been our friend. China wants to be a superpower. And a matter of fact, the way China sees it, we're bigger. We have more people. The world gets all their stuff from us. We want to be the reserve currency of the world, and this is what Jason's talking about. Patriot Radio News Hour, final segment coming up. 800-951-0592, U.S. Silver pre-1965, $50. A huge sale today, $20 off. That's $1 a coin off. They're $240 a roll at 800-951-0592. Take the interest rate on a 30-year fix I just gave you, throw it out the window. The 10-year note now approaching 3.5%. Right now, 3.45 on a 10-year note. That's another basis point higher. So, 6.3 now, 30-year fixed. Jason, this is not going to end well.
No, it's not, and
this is not going to end well. This is absolute insanity here.
On those silver half dollars, just for the people out there, they're always asking questions because when it comes to 90% silver, there's always you have to do all the math. But every silver half dollar has more than a third of an ounce of silver in it. So if you think about 3 silver half dollars, you're getting more than an ounce of silver. So you can divide the 240 by 20. You know how much each of your silver half dollars cost, and it's cool. It's a cool coin. So just we don't do a lot of silver lately. It's just the premiums are always so high, and it's hard to get it cheap. So if this is your silver guys out there, wake up. This is the
you're paying about $33.50 per ounce on those half dollar rolls, where like Silver Eagles, you're at $37.75, and we're one of the cheapest on Silver Eagles at $37.75 an ounce. So this is more than $4.25 an ounce less. They're the half dollars. That's awesome. So now half dollars with this special here today, that puts them at the same price as dimes and quarters, and that never happens, Jason.
Yeah, you always pay a little extra for those bigger coins. People just love, they like Silver Eagles. They love silver dollars, and those become scarce quickly when the silver market, contracts, and then then they go to silver half dollars. And the silver half dollars, they've been expensive for a while. we haven't been selling these on special for a long time.
Long time, yeah. I don't even remember when. By the way, I'll have these online as well after the show. But that's almost $3 an ounce, almost less than what they were at $2.60 a roll. So it's just great value here. And I got, I'll say this: if you said to me, "Hey, what's the most undervalued commodity right now?" I'd have to say silver's got to be at the top of the list, Jason.
It is silver. For whatever reason, the powers that be have just kept it pushing down silver. It's like one of those spring-loaded gadgets. Once it goes, it's just going to go flying into the stratosphere. So for all you silver guys out there, keep loading up.
And for most people listening, Jason, I don't think they understand the silver market is not very big. The gold market, much, much bigger. So the silver market, much easier for the banks to control. It's one of the few markets that's small enough, Jason, that they can have some power on it. But to Jason's point, when it lets go, we always talk about silver much more volatile than gold. And the reason is because it's easier for the banks to hold the prices down for a period of time.
Yeah, the Hunt brothers affected it in 1980, didn't they, Joe? It was just a couple of guys trying to
well,
move
they didn't
markets.
like that, did they?
Yeah. If two guys can do it like that, Joe, in 1980, it's not much different today. It's always J.P. Morgan seems to be the one controlling the silver, right?
Yeah, they've been in control of it for a very, very long time. 800-951-0592.